What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Agent Weather Forecast, and of course, there's going to be an update here on major winter storm Uri as it is continuing to bring in snow across portions of the Pacific Northwest. But as we continue throughout the weekend, it will continue to expand as it moves south. We're bringing in historic, not only temperatures, but as well as snow all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So we are looking at a very weird scenario from this major Arctic blast here, and this will bring in snow all the way from the Gulf Coast up to New England. So we are talking a literal cross-country snowstorm here, which most likely will be by far our biggest storm so far this season. And if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And as well, be sure to ask any questions if you have any in the comments below so I can do my best to respond to you guys, because obviously I don't want any of you guys to have any questions that I don't respond to in the video or anything like that. And as well, I'll be posting at least another video later this evening. I may have 3 videos out today depending on my schedule, but again, stay tuned for at least an additional upload later this evening here. But without further ado, let's get into the forecast. So this is now a look at what we have on the National Weather Service as of right now. Let me actually move my screen down a little bit so you guys can see what we have. So we actually have winter storm watches, guys, for almost the whole state of Texas. I mean, almost the whole state of Texas is under something. And look at that. Watches go all the way down to the Mexico border, and we have winter storm watches, guys, in areas that got hit by Hurricane Hannah over the summer of 2020. So this is how extremely south the storm is moving here. We have millions under a windstorm warning across the south central just alone here. Warnings for Austin. We have as well some warnings there in northern Louisiana. Almost the whole state of Arkansas is under a windstorm warning, and the whole state of Oklahoma is under a windstorm warning here. So this is how large this system will be. We have these advisories and warnings all the way in the Pacific Northwest and portions of the Rockies. And that's where we'll be seeing potentially a few feet of snow across those higher elevations, and then it makes its way more to the south here. We actually now have advisories issued for areas like Denver. The whole state of Kansas is under an advisory or a warning. And as well, we have these watches going all the way up to areas like Nashville, even Jackson, Mississippi, and just outside Baton Rouge, we actually have some windstorm watches. So this is something that we don't see too often. This is definitely a potential historic system. Probably going to be way more significant than Windstorm Benji, to be honest here. So it is going to be extremely, extremely interesting to play out as we will see snow literally across the country from the Sierras, which is happening right now, to the Gulf Coast, the little Gulf Coast. Like even Houston and Lake Charles have windstorm watches, and that's going to make its way all the way up to areas like Maine. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what the models have to say. So this is what we have so far according to the newly updated 12Z GFS here. So here's that snow across portions of the Pacific Northwest, and this again is all this whole snowstorm in general is possible because major Arctic blast and polar vortex coming from that massive high pressure that's going to strengthen its way into the United States and bring in potentially 30 degrees or more below average. So this cold air is going to be allowing for this big system to develop across the higher elevations. But then I move later into tomorrow morning, this low pressure as it moves more to the south, that cold air as well goes more to the south here. And there you see this high pressure is going to be super strong, 1,047 millibars. That's going to allow for some extremely widespread snow across the Rockies there into Denver. But the thing is, as this high pressure does move actually into the actual United States, it strengthens. So we're going to be seeing the coldest temperatures and from this whole Arctic blast actually all the way down to areas like Texas. We don't see cold fronts like this really every single year. This is a very this is not a typical cold front here. This is a Arctic blast, not only a polar vortex, but it's going to be a very extreme polar vortex. I mean, we're talking single digits, guys, single digits in areas like the Gulf Coast. But this is all going to be allowing for this widespread snow coming from the Gulf moisture and the moisture to the south there from these two low pressures here, and that's going to be allowing for some heavy snow across areas like Texas there, Oklahoma, portions of the South Central into now Monday morning. It's going to get a lot more widespread. So that's going to be a line, of course, that deep Arctic air moving into the United States here. And there's that main low pressure in the Gulf Coast. And it's going to be a line for all this snow to develop from areas like Corpus Christi to all the way to areas like Toronto and Syracuse. So really the heavy snow actually may be right outside that low pressure there off the Gulf Coast there. So very heavy snow for areas like Texas there, and some dangerous icy conditions is possible for Houston, portions of as well Lake Charles, all the way into areas like Beaumont, and then of course that snow does stretch way more to the north into areas like the Ohio Valley, portions of the Mississippi River Basin, like St. Louis, Memphis, and of course, going to be seeing some decent snow across areas like Pennsylvania and the Great Lakes. But as this low pressure does move more inland, this snow will get a lot worse for the southeast here. Now going to be seeing potentially very heavy snow across portions of Nashville, portions of Mississippi, and as well mainly western Alabama. It's going to kind of stay out of Georgia and stay out of the Carolinas because that cold air is going to kind of be limited towards the central United States here. So it really won't be cold enough, I guess you could say that, across these areas. But that snow stretching all the way from central Louisiana all the way up to areas like Maine. So we're literally talking a very widespread storm. Cincinnati, Columbus, even New York City could be seeing some frozen precipitation. But the thing is, although this will be a nor'easter, it's going to be more of an upper northeast storm here for snow wise, and it's going to kind of be more of a rainy event for the east coast here because this low pressure is going to be too close to the actual inland regions. So really the heavy snow will actually stick around more to the north here. But if the low pressure was a lot more inland or a lot more off the coast, then it would bring in some more snow across the northeast coast like New York City. But it's going to be more of an upper northeastern nor'easter like Pittsburgh, State College, the Great Lakes there, and that's those higher elevations there. And this will all end by Wednesday afternoon. So now that we took a look at the GFS, here's now what the European has to say. This is the 0Z. The 60 has not come out yet, but there you see that snow really similar to the GFS. Very widespread snow across the western United States. You got as well Salt Lake City can get some snow, Boise can get some snow. Even Portland may see a few snow showers, and even Seattle as well may get some snow. So Seattle, it's going to be quite snowy for you guys, not really rainy. So for once, Seattle's going to get some decent snow instead of decent rain. And then you see by getting into Sunday, that snow becomes a lot more widespread across Texas, portions of the western plains in Denver, as well as some decent snow across Albuquerque, Salt Lake City, Boise, as well even Cheyenne. But the biggest that's going to be really coming into now much of really Sunday as well Monday, when the storm becomes very widespread across the central United States, across areas like Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Colorado, moving to even portions of Iowa and Missouri. And it's going to kind of by Monday become a bit more widespread to areas like the Great Lakes, like Chicago could be seeing a few flurries, even Detroit can get some nice snow. But of course, the heaviest snow at the moment on Monday morning will really be towards the Gulf Coast, like Houston can get some dangerous ice and snow there, College Station, Austin, Shreveport, and that snow goes all the way to areas like the Ohio Valley here. But that main low pressure is going to be right there. But it's going to bring in the nice front right there with that high pressure there. It's going to bring in all that cold there on the backside of that low pressure, allowing for anything to the west of that low pressure to be snow, even if it's the coast. And there you see, as this low pressure does move more up the the eastern United States, that snow will continue to become a bigger threat towards the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. You can kind of maybe see some ice may mix in the rain with the areas like New York City, but I doubt it'll be even anything too major. The rain may freeze overnight, but I doubt it'll be that big of an ice issue. The big ice issue, though, for the Northeast will be for Pennsylvania, portions of Maryland, upper Virginia, and as well areas into even Ohio can get some dangerous ice there. But there's that low pressure. It's basically almost on New York City, so there's really no way New York City would get anything. It's going to kind of be more to the north, like Cleveland, off the Great Lakes there, and as well into those higher elevations like Burlington, Concord, Mount Washington, as well into areas like Bangor and Caribou up there in Maine. But Of course, by this will move out mainly by Wednesday, but then we'll have another system for the South Central, potentially a very similar track, but more to the west. So, we're going to be really watching that after Windstorm Uri. So this is now what the NAM 3 kilometer has to say. So this is what they have for the next 12 hours. So you see, very similar to what the Golden Walls had. They had that snow across the Rockies and even, of course, in those Sierras there. But really, it's going to be mainly in the Rockies throughout today, though. It was really a big threat for Seattle and areas like Spokane and Boise and those Sierra out or those Sierras and where the Rockies meets, kind of where it was yesterday. But by the next 12 hours, we will start to get that snow across areas like Denver, finishing off in Salt Lake City. But as of the next 24 hours, it'll be completely different by tomorrow morning. Things will be an absolute mess. Or I guess you can say tomorrow late morning or tomorrow early afternoon. The snow will become a bigger threat across Oklahoma City, the upper Texas region there. We'll be seeing that cold there making its way around those areas. But even if the main system isn't actually near the coast, we will see some rain showers near Houston and Dallas and even Louisiana develop into freezing rain and ice. What happened with Fort Worth and Dallas earlier this week here. So let's hope we don't see anything like that. Let's hope, since this storm has been a topic for a while, that it'll be, I guess, a lot more preventable on what happened with Dallas or Fort Worth. So let's hope that people are prepared for this weather down the south, because if not, it'll be a big mess, because obviously this will be a lot worse than what happened with Dallas, because Dallas and Fort Worth, there was a few freezing rain showers throughout overnight, and people obviously, it was a surprise, but people don't prepare for this. I mean, we're talking not only freezing rain, but inches and inches of snow, which can lead to even worse car accidents. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because it's going to be an absolute mess throughout the next 35 hours. Snow from areas like upper Texas all the way to areas like Illinois, and then there you see the ice will be a big time threat across areas that at this point you might as well just want snow in Houston, because this ice is going to be a lot more dangerous. Those because obviously sometimes you can't see black ice, which makes it so deadly and so dangerous. But you can obviously see where snow is, and that snow obviously can kind of, I guess, accumulate on the ice, which can, I guess, make it a little bit more, I guess, a little bit easier to drive in. But you don't want to just have straight up ice for these areas like Houston and Shreveport. That's just the worst scenario possible. And that's been not getting the next 48 hours is snow. By Monday morning, it will kind of be mainly a snow threat across the upper Ohio Valley region and the Great Lakes, but we're still going to be seeing some dangerous ice across Nashville, and as well even areas like Alexandria, maybe some few areas of sleet across maybe Baton Rouge, but some going to be quite dangerous across areas like Memphis there. Nashville, mainly, I bet, according to the NAM 3 kilometer, it's going to be mainly an ice threat for Nashville. We may see a few hours of snow following that, but they're not really showing what the GFS has or anything. So I think the European and the NAM 3 kilometer are agreeing quite well. So I think the GFS is still being quite unreasonable, in my opinion. I think the European's more reasonable. And this is what the European has to say. So you can kind of see there's that snow for this is by the next 90 hours. So this is kind of by Tuesday, when that's Tuesday evening, when that snow is really over. But you can kind of see, and we're going to be seeing some decent snow across these regions and those mountainous areas. We may see a few inches there across Denver and a few inches there near Cheyenne, but just the west of those cities, we will be seeing up to maybe half foot or more. But obviously, it'll be a lot more severe in those even higher elevations than the Sierras. We actually may get, according to the European, maybe 9 inches of snow across the Seattle region. So actually, it will be quite significant for Seattle. But this is what the European has to say for the South Central and up the eastern and central United States. It's going to be very significant here. Areas that are just missing out on the worst is going to be like Nashville, Huntsville, Tupelo. Atlanta's going to really miss out on this one. Obviously, if that cold front just moved a bit more to the east, it'll be an absolute massive storm for these areas. But, and you see, we may see 3 to 5 inches there across Dallas, maybe a trace or so, maybe a little bit more across Houston. It's going to be mainly an ice threat for those areas here. But look at here. This is going to be the really thing to really watch out for. We may actually get more than 9 inches of snow across areas like upper Louisiana. And this is actually not the first one that's done this so far this year. We saw that past storm, I believe it was the last month, we saw like I think a near 7 inches there for Shreveport. So that's gonna be our second big storm like this for Louisiana. Sometimes we see usually a storm like this every single maybe 2 years, 3 years, but we've seen two of these so far this season alone for these areas. So we're possibly seeing 16 times the regular snowfall in some of these areas just with this snowstorm. But between the two snowstorms, this one and the past one last month, we're seeing possibly 20 times the snowfall averages in some of these areas, especially like Shreveport. They average less than an inch per year. But Memphis may see up to 10 inches there. So you can kind of see the area to really watch is the Mississippi River Basin there. So like areas right off the Mississippi River, like far northwestern Mississippi, far western Tennessee there, areas in far southern Missouri, and far eastern Arkansas. Really, it's kind of the area where we may see that extremely heavy snow in the bullseye there. Nashville, according to the European, may get around maybe 6 to 8 inches, but anywhere just south may get a little bit less. So it's going to be a very close call because some areas may get a 4 inch difference within 10 miles. I mean, that's how the storm is going to be really crazy depending on the low pressure location. But we may see it maybe half foot across Indianapolis, a few inches there for Chicago, maybe even 4 inches there for Detroit. But of course, it's going to be kind of more of an upper northeastern storm. So we may see up to 10 plus inches across Cleveland, Lake Erie there, Buffalo, Jamestown, much of upper and upper western Pennsylvania, and as well very heavy snow across the upper northeast, like the Adirondacks there. So we may get a trace or so for New York City, but again, it's not going to be anything too significant. Now here's a look at what the European has to say for the South Central. Let me actually move my screen a little bit so you guys can kind of get a little bit of space there. This is what they have, the European for the South Central, getting extremely heavy snow, of course. These areas, 10 plus inches between Texas all the way up the Mississippi River Basin. But of course, we're going to be seeing a few inches there near Abilene. Austin may get possibly 4 to 5 inches, so definitely really going to be a big threat. Oklahoma City may get around 7 inches or even more. So obviously, it's something to really keep in mind. But let me move this screen as well. As going to possibly see maybe 7 inches there near Nashville, but just to the south, we may get only 3 or 5. So it's going to be a very big difference there. But 3 to 5 inches across Chicago, maybe half a foot across Detroit. But it's going to be a big, big storm for areas like Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, especially New York. So we're going to be kind of seeing this limited little area right here where we'll be seeing that heaviest snow here. So if you're just outside, you may see a big difference within a few miles just west of you or east of you, depending where you are. But Columbus may get around 9 inches of snow. Cleveland may get 10 to 11 inches. May get a foot or more across areas like Buffalo and Jamestown. Some decent snow for Syracuse. May get half foot or even just a little bit less for areas of State College. You wouldn't even do that. So this is what we have now for the Tennessee and Kentucky Valley. We will see around 7 inches there across Nashville, but just the south can get maybe 3 to 5. So it's going to be a really big difference there. Knoxville, you guys are just going to miss out. So for once, it's going to be a bigger storm for those kind of river areas there. Maybe 9 to 10 inches for Memphis. May get around a half foot or more across Jonesboro. Poplar Bluff may get around 8 inches. A big storm for Louisville, a big storm for Cincinnati, and a big storm for Frankfort. So it's going to kind of be more of a western Kentucky storm for once. So Lexington, you guys may get around 9 inches, but just to the west, may get 11 plus inches. A big storm for Cincinnati, a big storm for Evansville. So these areas are finally getting their winter. And this is what the GFS has to say, getting kind of similar totals, but way more to the east. So look at that. They have maybe a possibly 8 inch difference. They have really only around 2 to 3 inches for Poplar Bluff, only around 3 inches there for areas like Arkansas, only around maybe 3 inches or 5 inches for Memphis. So there's a big difference here, and I do believe the GFS is taking this way more to the east than it should be. So I do think it should be kind of where the European is, and I think the European and the 3 kilometer agree. However, the GFS just takes it way more to the east. I mean, they get up to 10 inches near Murfreesboro. They get around more than a foot and a half across areas like southeastern Kentucky. They have all that snow kind of moving to West Virginia, moving to areas like as well, even areas like maybe areas like Scranton. So I really think this is going to be a bit different. I do believe the European is more correct, but we will find out here. But getting up to the half foot across Louisiana, all the way up to areas of the Ohio River Basin there. So definitely interesting. Snowfall totals according to the NAN 3 kilometer between the next 60 hours. So this is 60 hours. So this is not the whole storm. So if you see a lot lower totals, again, don't freak out. But next 60 hours here, you can kind of see that areas where you will be seeing some scattered areas of over 2 feet, and some areas may even get over 4 feet. But Denver can get a few inches there, but gonna get some decent snow between the next 60 hours across areas like central Oklahoma. May get around half foot near Oklahoma City. We'll get already more than 3 inches there for Dallas between the next 60 hours. Already around a few inches there for Memphis. But you can kind of see they're really agreeing. The NAN 3 kilometers really keeping that location where the European is. So I'm going to have to go with the European. I think the European's a lot more reasonable with this, with not only totals, but location. The NAN starting to get there, getting already next 60 hours, a few inches for Columbus, already 3 inches there in Detroit. So it's going to be a very interesting system to play out here. The ice will be as well a pretty dangerous threat. 48 hours from now, we will get around a tenth of an inch across these areas here. So that's still a ton of ice, and that can take out power lines and trees. But it's going to get a lot worse and excessive. 7/10 of an inch is possible. So we're talking maybe just over half inch of ice is possible. And if you think about it, I believe a professional ice hockey ring's around 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. So we're getting there, and that's how dangerous it can be. But the European the next 66 hours gets almost exactly an inch of ice across areas like Lake Charles, outside of Houston there, and as well going to be seeing around a half inch of ice across areas like Louisiana and portions of Mississippi. So we're talking potentially just under an inch of ice, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but an inch of ice will do a lot of damage, not just for the South because they're not used to it, but even the Northeast, an inch of ice is excessive and crazy and dangerous, not only with the roads, but the houses. Power lines definitely will go down 100%. Let me go ahead and move my camera here a little bit. 72 hours out, we will get around half an inch of ice across Mississippi and Alabama, and some scattered areas as we will be seeing some freezing rain developing a little bit more to the east, and those areas like the mid-Atlantic will get around maybe a tenth of an inch to maybe 2/10 of an inch. And the ice will continue to be a big threat, getting maybe just under an inch of ice across areas like Pennsylvania, some big time ice as well across West Virginia. So it's going to be a big ice threat no matter where you are. If you're in the system in the path, it's going to be either rain, heavy snow, or heavy ice. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.